All right, so we'll go through a few of these here. Sorry. Yeah, so we'll go through some of these. I will grab my.
Can you dress code back up?
She's wearing a jacket.
You're not allowed to.
I am freezing.
You're not allowed to wear jackets, and so that's against dress code.
I feel distracted.
I feel distracted.
Just like that scraping noise is just distracting.
It's against dress code.
So you had long pants on the other day. There was like
So, that's not against dress code.
He said the noise was distracting.
There's nothing against that in dress code, though. You can't wear jackets.
Yeah.
That's dress code.
Pants
Then
are
get
pants.
out.
You can't take pants off.
Then leave the
You
classroom.
leave the classroom. You're the one that's.
You're the one that's causing
dress
problems.
You guys are the ones that have an issue with it. No one else does. It's so
Does anybody else have an issue?
No.
Matthew has an issue.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
Oh, it's
Maria
pretty
doesn't have an issue. Really, guys, do you have an issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Haley, Tara, do you guys have issues? So get out.
It's still dress code. It's the rule. The rule's a rule.
So why are you so pressed about it?
Citation needed.
Yeah, Ashley says
Yeah,
citation.
Okay.
No.
No, I want him to cite words.
Comments?
Word in the dress code states, oh yeah, you can't wear jackets.
Oh, no. Just focus on the.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to pull that
All
up.
right. Right.
Promise it
Okay.
first.
So guys, in number 1, remember that H and K, yes, should be the opposite signs of what it looks like. So for our center here, there's no H with our X, so that's going to be 0. But the K then is the opposite side of what it looks like. It looks like a -3, so it's actually +3. So we go to graph this, and, oh, sorry, not there. So 0, 3. And then from there, I have to do my radius, which is r squared equals 9. So we take the square root to figure out r has to be 3. So every direction from that center, we're going to go out 3. So out 3, out 3, out 3, out 3, and then we draw our circle. Once we have our circle, not a very good circle there, we have to pick a point and check and see how close we actually got to our actual circle. Does anyone want to give me one of their points they tried? What a good point.
2, 1.
So 2, 1. So there on the circle, 2, 1. So we're going to check that then in this equation. We're putting it in for the x and y. So it'll be 2 squared plus 1 minus 3 squared equals 9. So 2 squared is 4. Negative 2 squared is also 4. So we get 4 plus 4 is 8, which is close to 9. I don't know if anyone got closer, or like we did one yesterday, you know, that we got like 0.25 away, but it probably depends. I would say it's probably easier to be more accurate when the circle's bigger. When the circle's smaller, like I bet number 2 was kind of hard to get accurate on. So I would think, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, so going to numbers 11 and 12, like I said, we can do both of those. Let me know if you find where you went wrong and stop me if you figure that out. But so they're giving us the ends of the diameter. So they're giving you the 2 endpoints. And this one actually, for both of these, it probably would be pretty easy to graph it because they're actually on or the first one at least is on like the same line, like the same vertical or horizontal line. So we have to find the midpoint. So, oops, negative 17. Now, if your midpoint's wrong, all the rest of this is going to be wrong. So that's getting that correct to begin with is important. So I have to find the middle of these two. Now, I can just tell what that is. If you can as well, you probably don't have to do the work. But negative 17 plus a negative 19 divide by 2. So that's going to be a negative 26. 36, thank you. Divide by 2. So that's a negative 18, which again makes sense. Between negative 17 and negative 19, the middle is negative 18. Then these two, the middle, is them, like they're on the same point. So the middle in this case is a little bit easier to find. So we found the h and k. And then Becca, which one did you pick to use?
The negative 17.
Okay, so we have to use one of these 2 points, and I have to make sure I don't like mix them up at all. But that's going to be my x and y. And we know h and k. So we're still trying to find r. So it's x minus h. And then y minus k. So we end up with 1 squared here, right? And this ends up being 0. So 1 equals r squared.
Yeah, I knew where I wanted.
No, it's okay. Yeah. So let's look at number 12. I know they're similar, but I just want to make sure I get everybody's questions covered so we kind of figure out where you went wrong.
Wait, why?
What's up?
Oh,
Do you want me to go back to that? Okay.
wait, it was -9 used instead of 19.
What?
You were using the first point instead of the second
Oh.
She just chose that point. You can choose either point with the center. So we pick one of the points in the center to use to find the r. But so that a center has to be h and k. The other 2 points are our x's and y's. All right, like I said, I'll go through number 12, which is really a similar question. So we have to find our midpoint. And again, the midpoint, if you're able to kind of like reason with the points, like kind of figure it out, I don't need the work. Like if you don't need the midpoint formula, typically there'll be kind of nice points. Alright, so finding the halfway point between these. So -3 plus 3 divided by 2, and then 11 plus a -13 divided by 2. So I'm adding them, dividing by 2. This ends up being 0 divided by 2. This is -2 divided by 2, right? So we end up with 0, -1 as my h and k. And then Paige, which point did you pick? Okay, so she used this one, and it shouldn't matter which one you use, I just wanted them to be able to find their mistake if they made one. So that's our x and y. We're going to use that to find our r. -3 minus 0 squared. 11 minus a -1 squared. So this becomes -3 squared, which is 9. This is 12 squared, which is 144. So does that equal 153, right? Yeah. Okay. No, it's okay. And then you just take your vertex, your h and k, and then your radius and put them back together again. So we don't really need to find the square root of 153. We can leave it that way because it goes into the formula that way. Right? Is this okay? All right.